My first video that I ever did was making fun of my grandmother. We tried to buy her an Alexa and she didn't want it. I think Alexa could do, she could get the kids next door to do it. Why would I need Alexa to turn on the light when I got little Alejandro over there to turn on the light for me? Man, look, turn on the light. He'd go turn on the light. And then she's like, see, and I'm watching them for the rest of the week. So I have a 7-day free trial. And
that's funny.
That video got 8.8 million views on TikTok. I wasn't called Chancla Academy. I was Confessions of a Poor Family.
All right, Joe. So what's working with your hair and what's not working?
Everything. Look at it. It's abysmal.
All right. So you got curly.
I do.
Yeah.
I unfortunately use relaxer.
Yeah.
To like keep it straight, because if not, I'm gonna look like Bad Bunny, and that is not a good. Bunny. It's not a good fit for me. But I don't want to be like Bad Bunny with a receding hairline. Or is it just the tan?
It's the hat.
It's the hat.
Yeah, it's the hat. I actually, one of the guys I have on the podcast, Alex DeFranco, and he always wears his hat backwards, and he has like a half circle tattoo, like tan line, like right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I took photos from like promo photos from that. I was looking, I'm like, what the fuck is on Alex's head? I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, there's no shadowing with the lights. I was trying to figure it all out. And then I realized that's a tan line.
Yeah, I have to cover it up. But I used to have really bad psoriasis, but found some soap and stuff that's been helping me out with that. So
how are we working here? What are you in the mood for?
I don't know.
You got a show this week.
I know, I do. I don't want to look too grown up. I don't want to look like an old Mexican dude. I would say just like work your magic. I usually do like a 2 and like a taper, and then I usually do like I comb to the side and stuff.
When you say taper, do you like want to see skin in here? Like, what are you going to do with
Yeah, we kind of like blend it in and taper up this way. You have a little bit of skin.
What are you doing with your facial hair? Do you leave it like that? Do you go through and like, I see this side is more cleaned up than this side?
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there.
Okay. Do you want me to like even that out?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We can do that.
Made me look like a normal human being.
Okay, but so here's the thing. Are you going to continue to keep doing the relax right in your hair?
I plan on not. I don't want to anymore, because I did find a hairstyle a while back that really worked for me. And it was just, again, it was like they did a 2 on the side, and I was just combing my hair back. It was kind of like a slick back almost, but my hair is just dry. I like to keep the waves in there.
You like the waves?
Yeah, I like the waves.
Great scene.
Yes.
Well, yeah, let's do this, man.
Yeah. Man, I haven't had a haircut in like 4 months.
4 months?
Yeah.
4 months of growth.
This is 4 months of growth.
Okay.
That's why I think I'm balding.
You're not bald. You're not balding, dude. I don't see any.
You don't see any piojos?
Oh, any what?
Any piojos?
What the hell?
It's lice?
No. No.
Okay. No. You want to go for an Easter egg hunt? You can pick off the little eggs?
No. No. They talk about that in school. They talk about like the way you're supposed to like handle it. You can't apparently say, at least everyone keeps saying, it's like, you can't say you have lice, I can't do your hair.
Yeah.
Apparently you can't say that, but you're supposed to say like, it appears that you may have this. I'm not going to take the chance that it isn't. I think there's like a way of doing it.
Yeah.
I've never had to encounter that in salon, thankfully. I would probably just be like, you got bugs.
Yeah, no.
Which is not a really great way to say anything. Like, you got bugs. What? You know?
Oh, no. There's an old barbershop that's still around on the west side of San Antonio called Rio's.
Okay.
And those old ladies will out you in a heartbeat. They don't care.
Well, I imagine that like there totally is like there are people who do that, you know. I'm not one of those guys. Also, I've never had to do it, so I don't really know for sure if like would I say that or would I not say that?
Yeah. It's part of why I didn't really like growing up. I didn't get as many haircuts, and I got used to that.
Getting lice?
Well, because the barbershops that we used to go to, you know, they were your neighbors or whatever, or some cosmetologist that went to Milan or something. And
what's Milan?
It's a makeup and beauty school, and they also do hair.
Okay, and this is
the fact that it still exists is scary.
Sometimes the bad beauty schools are like roaches; they just don't go away.
No, they don't,
and they actually have roaches in them too.
Dude, I know so many people who I've let do my hair that went to Milan and total regrets.
Hey, you know what? If you saw the beauty school I went to, it sounds just like that one. It was awful. It was disgusting. There's always some sort of like roach thing or like some weird rat thing. I just remember going there and going like, well, this is my only option of getting my license, because the next closest two cosmetology schools, one was the state-run school in Riverside, California, which there was a waiting list to get in that, and it was an hour drive, and like I'm never going to make it there on time. Like I just was staying out way too late, and like there's no way I was going to be able to be in Riverside. It'd be like driving to like, I don't know, like San Antonio or New Braunfels from here, right?
Yeah.
An hour in morning traffic. Like you're going to have to leave 2 hours, and I just know I'm never going to make it. The other option was going to Oceanside, same thing, slightly better school. Also, a lot more money. So I'm like, I will just go to the cheap school.
You look like you went to Paul Mitchell.
No, Paul Mitchell wasn't around.
No, he wasn't around?
Well, the product that was, the schools weren't. When I was graduating cosmetology schools, when the Paul Mitchell School first opened up in Orange County, California, probably had just a few more hours. Let's say a few, probably like 400 more hours, 200 more hours left by the time that school became something to go to.
Yeah.
I remember we were all in awe of the school. Like, oh my, this is what a school should look like. This is what it should be like. They also had at that time the Vidal Sassoon School in Santa Monica.
Vidal Sassoon had schools? What?
He had a cosmetology school in Santa Monica. But that was even further away. That would be like driving to like Dallas from here, from where I grew up.
Yeah.
I just knew that those were just not options for me. And so, you know, it's got to make do with what you want to do. And that's that. All right. So it's kind of like even that out. Do you want this stuff to be shortened up too?
Yeah.
Like how short?
Well, not too close to this gun, because then, because then you'll see my plump little face. I'm gonna look like Big Ed from 90 Day Fiance. I've been wanting to try to like find a way to style my hair that's just, I guess more modern. I don't know.
What's modern mean? That's like one of those things that sounds like, you know.
I probably don't understand what that means. I guess, I don't know. I just don't want to look old, like older than what I am. Like I don't want a dad haircut.
How old are you now?
I'm 38.
38. Okay. Well,
like look at you. Look at your hair. It's like pretty badass. Like
I just grew it long.
It's cool.
I don't know if it's cool. I just grew it long because I figured I'm 42 and I have hair.
Might have looked 42. But see, that's the thing. Like your haircut doesn't make you look 42.
I also refuse to acknowledge my age, but like hopefully not in like a negative way where it's like I'm clinging to the youth balloon. It's just like flipping at them.
I thought you were like 34 or 35.
Cool. I'll take it. All right. So let's do this. I'm going to take this on the shorter side, right?
Okay.
But we're not going to. Dude, you have so much hair.
Do I?
Yeah.
You think so? It's a lot of hair?
Yes, you have a lot.
I wish my hair used to be really long. I feel like this is still too short.
I discovered your Instagram profile because my wife was in dire need and desire for searching for California burritos.
Uh-huh.
And she came across this one account down in San Antonio called Iguana. What was it called? Iguanas?
Yeah, Iguana Burritozilla.
Yes. And they have this like a burrito that takes like 3 fucking gigantic tortillas, it looks like, to make this 3-foot carne asada burrito.
Yes.
Not just carne asada, a California burrito, which is, you know, top tier of California burritos, especially when you're growing up eating these things. They don't have them here in Texas.
Yeah.
I talk about a California burrito in Texas. Like, why would you want anything from California?
Yeah.
And try this burrito and tell me it's wrong. And it's like, she's like, look at this. Here's this guy eating. And this giant burrito. And then I was looking at your account and I was trying to figure out, like, what the fuck does this guy do? Like, you have over 200,000 followers. And I'm like, at first I thought it was a food account. I thought you were like rating local food in San Antonio. And that's like how you got your following and all that. And then I just started realizing that's not it at all. And I have no way to describe what you do. So what is it that you do? I mean, I would just say content creator. But I'm feeling like that even in itself is like still quite limiting.
Yeah, no, I've always been like a huge fan of like variety shows. Huge fan of like Dave Chappelle and some other comedians. I remember watching a show called Sábado Gigante every Saturday evening with my grandmother. Okay. And it was a comedy show. It was like food reviews. It was a whole bunch of things to kind of just keep you entertained. It wasn't just this regular, stale, boring, like variety show. I kind of took after that. That was something that always interested me. It was something I wanted to do as I got older. I was like, I'm going to move to California one day. I'm going to be a TV personality and I'm going to do like the American version of Sábado Gigante. And this Sábado Gigante.
What's that mean?
like Grand Saturday. So, or Big Saturday.
See, I have no idea because I don't speak Spanish. Like my Spanish is limited to like, yo quiero mucho cerveza. Donde está el bar? Which, depending on how many cervezas, you are going to need to know.
Never break the seal, man. That's the hardest part. But yeah, I didn't really want my page to be this just very bland.
One thing.
Yeah. Some days I'll make skits. Some days I'm shooting stuff with my family. Some days I am a food blogger. Some days I'm just reviewing just random crap that I see on the internet or just, giving my opinion on. And people like that. People seem to like the variety, keeps them engaged.
It's not one thing.
It's not one thing. Yeah. But it allows me to showcase my personality as who I am as a person. People seem to love it. The whole idea for Chancla Academy came about, it was during the pandemic. I got really sick. I thought, man, I'm going to croak. I was like in a really bad position. And
what do you mean sick? Like with COVID or just like
I never
sick? Like, I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, I don't know if I had COVID because I never got to go to the hospital because the hospitals were full and stuff at that time. I just had some paramedics come by and say like, well, stay away from your family. So I was just trapped in my living room for like 20 days. But there was a point where, man, I just remember taking a shower and I just couldn't breathe. And I was messaging my friends and saying like, I think this is it. I'm going to die. I'm going to fucking die. I even wrote letters to my family. I was like, I'm going to put them by my bed, where I'm laying in the middle of the living room. I'm laying on my 3-year-old daughter's bed is what I'm laying on in the living room on the floor. And I woke up in the morning feeling fine. And my daughter was like, hey, we should make videos and take photos. And at that time, I didn't really like being in front of the camera. I was just like, what am I going to do with this?
So real quick, I just want to pause you right there.
Yeah.
So before this, you had no experience in front, doing any sort of acting or stage performance or anything like that. You're a regular, no pun intended, what's in your name, average Joe, going through life, doing things. You're on your deathbed during COVID, and you're like, there has to be more than this.
Yeah.
Am I caught up?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry. Even if you weren't listening, it'd be like talking to my wife. She doesn't really she's like, oh man, that's cool. And I didn't say anything. We have this inside joke with my wife where if we want to check out of the conversation, we go, man, that's crazy.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. But no, my daughter turned me to TikTok and she's like, I was like, I don't want to make videos. She's like, well, let's keep a video diary, just in case, something were to ever happen to you, we'll have some memories. I was like, okay. So I kind of took a look at the app and I saw that there were other people just doing sketch comedy. And it was something I've always wanted to try. I wanted to go to film school and that wasn't something I got an opportunity to do because, we grew up in a really rough financial situation. My first video that I ever did was making fun of my grandmother. We tried to buy her an Alexa and she didn't want it because she said she had the little kids next door. Anything Alexa could do, she could get the kids next door to do it.
Oh my God. That's just amazing.
She's like, why would I need Alexa to turn on the light when I got little Alejandro over there to turn on the light for me? Man, look, turn on the light. And then he'd go turn on the light. And then she's like, see, and I'm watching them for the rest of the week. So I have a 7-day free trial. And
that's funny.
And that video got 8.8 million views on TikTok. I just blew up on TikTok and I said, you know what? This is what I want to do. And at that time, I wasn't called Chancla Academy.
Yeah.
I was Confessions of a Poor Family.
Confessions of a Poor Family?
Yeah.
That's great. Do you still use that handle for anything?
No, I've thought about bringing it back as a second page because there's times where I'm just like, man, I really want to showcase what it was really like growing up the way I did.
Confessions of a Poor Family sounds like it should be its own internet series show.
Yeah.
Like I'm Married with Children.
Oh, I love Married with Children.
So did I say this all the time. Growing up, there are 3 families, and one of the families is an amalgamation of just really many shows together, and that was what I called the TGI Friday.
Oh, I love
family, right? There is the family you wished your parents afterlife in your family was, which was Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step, right? At the end of the day, they're not screaming and getting mad for something you would have, got screamed and yelled at. Right?
Yeah.
And then there's the family you never wanted to become, which was Al Bundy, the Bundys, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the family you were born into, which was fucking Roseanne.
Yeah.
That was the family. You're like, I have an uncle like that, or I relate to this. I have a family member. That was as an adult now looking back, I'm like, I think that show is like so ahead of the time. I think the reason why it was so popular is because everybody was like, oh, that's my family.
Yeah.
The reason everybody else liked the other shows is like, we're bad. This one not like the Bundys, you know?
I feel like I'm living Al Bundy's life though right now.
Really?
Yeah.
You selling shoes and shit?
Pretty much. I feel like being on the internet is the equivalent of selling shoes.
It could be, but I mean, I don't think so.
Every paycheck, it's like, where are you taking us? Where are we going to eat? And they're always making fun of my crappy little car that I drive. I live Al Bundy's life. I just don't sell shoes. Wow. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But yeah, no, from there, I decided that it was something that I wanted to pursue. And then my wife's like, you're always talking about, growing up Mexican and this is how we lived. And she's like, you always talk about like life lessons. And she's like, why don't you call it something that has to do with the school? And I was like, well, what do I call it? The Mexican club or Mexican Ford Club or I don't get it. So there was a time where she remembered where I was graduating from high school and, my grandmother came to see me and she pulled out her chancla and she was going to hit me with it. And my abuela was just like, oh no, you know what? Sabes que? You graduated. I don't have to hit you no more. My wife looked back at that. She was like, it's kind of like, a school, an academy. And she was like, Chancla Academy. Because for everything, I remember your grandmother pretty much beating your ass. If I didn't, if I picked up my son the wrong way, here she comes, smack me with the chancla. That's not how you hold him. If I cook something the wrong way, no, boom, chancla again. That's not how you cook. Like everything was a chancla. So we came up with Chancla Academy. Well, she did. And that name just stuck with everybody.
Like now I need it for clarification for all the gringos like myself who did not know what the fucking chancla was until pretty much recently. My wife was citing the chancla. My wife is Puerto Rican. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, how? She's like, look at it. So you grew up in Southern fucking California and you've never heard the word chancla. I'm like, no. She's like, your best friend is Mexican. Like, how? And I'm like, I've never heard. I'm like, I think you're making this up.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not. She's like, yeah. She'll say, you get hit with the fucking chancla. And it's like the mothers have like, they're like better than fucking SEAL Team 6 snipers. They're like, fucking. And I was like, shit, a chancla is a fucking sandal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, she's like, you never had any of your friends get beat with like the chancla? And I'm like, no, my buddy Matt Everett, who's like 6'5", his mother is Italian and she was like 5'1", and she would beat the shit out of him with the wooden spoon in the kitchen. I've never seen him like a size of a grown man cower so quickly. There was like this little, like that.
Yeah.
And that was the only, child abuse I ever witnessed.
Yeah.
And because he was a child. He's 6'5", he was like 16. Doesn't matter, it's a fucking child, right? And so my wife and I get on the phone and we call my friend Robert. And I'm like, Robert, I think Shoshana is making this shit up about chocolate. He's like, oh no, the chocolate is real. And he like went on and my wife's like, a lot. I go, how did I never fucking hear this? And then it made more sense that like once I understood what chocolate meant, and then I was actually able to pronounce your fucking Instagram. So I'm like, Chancla.
Oh my God, I get that.
I know, I didn't know.
Chancla.
I was like, I don't know, maybe it's an acronym for something I don't fucking understand. But now that I know what a chancla is,
yeah,
now it makes more sense.
Well, the chancla was the only tool that parents could use without getting CPS called on them for hitting you with it. So like,
is it like in the CPS rule book? Like,
probably.
And they're like, was it a bat? No. Was it a bell? It's no. Chocolate?
You're screwed.
Sandal. We don't have chancla.
We're not bilingual here, so we're sorry. We didn't add it to the.
But we're in San Antonio. Sorry.
Yeah. But chanclas have evolved, man. I prefer the slides. Those are a little more aerodynamic when you're throwing it.
Now is the chocolate, is it limited mothers throwing these things or also fathers throwing them?
Oh no, fathers throw these things too.
Really? If the chocolate throwing is like a real thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you not going through cornhole tournaments and just like pool sharking the fuck out of everybody?
I should have been like a quarterback or something.
I'm just saying, like, I'd be like, I bet you my grandma will fucking beat the shit out of on cornhole. I mean, if they're able to have that sort of tossing mechanism,
maybe the holes aren't big enough.
Maybe the bags aren't as aerodynamic as the slide.
The slide you can just.
I'm just curious.
Like a bullet.
Just wondering if you took your abuelas and lined them up and you said, like, all right, here's the chocolate. Let's see what you hit now. Here is cornhole. I'm curious if it would transfer over.
I think there's like a secret like Abuela Olympics that happens or something that we don't know about, where they just have like these fucking throwing contests.
I'm serious that you could do like a whole triathlon, like an Ironman of throwing. It could be cornhole, chanclas, and skipping rocks.
Could you imagine a sandal fucking just skipping? It causes a little wave at the end, gets you wet, and just fucking hits you.
You just have like you have the grandkids out in the water. Like, all right, let me
Just stay right there, don't move. What? Dude, you could skid some chanclas off of kids' heads, man. I've seen it happen. My grandmother, she hit 3 of my cousins one time. She got them all, just one.
What is that, fucking boomerang?
Dude, man, that's my dream. If I want to be able to is to make a chancla that's kind of like a boomerang. Obviously, it's not going to be in the shape, but I want to find a way to make it come back. We have this whole skit idea that we want to do where, have you seen Suicide Squad?
Oh yeah.
With Captain Boomerang. I want to do this whole like anime Japanese thing where it's just like an abuela going out and just fucking ripping ass with chanclas, and it just comes back to her, and just it's this whole thing. I want to do an anime version of Chancla Academy because I feel like the story would be better told that way.
Oh, kind of like Boondocks?
Yeah, just because the stuff that I want to do is just not feasible in real life, and I'm not really good at visual effects to make it happen, and it would just take so much time to do. But I do a lot of parodies with like Star Wars. We built recently for May the 4th. I made some chanclas that light up like lightsabers, and that was fun to do. I just got some LED strips, bought some clear chanclas, and put a battery pack on the back, and just went for it. And I did pretty good. I thought this video would do better, but it didn't.
So Chancla Academy became your new handle. So from growing, it was called Growing Up Poor, right?
Yes, Confessions of a Poor.
And then it went from that to Chancla Academy.
Yeah, and then I just kind of started showcasing, like just really embracing, all the things that I grew up with. And there were more and more people just coming out and saying, hey, like, this is something I would never talk about in public, but it's so nice to see that you're embracing, growing up in the projects and living and eating a certain way and your family talking a certain way. It was kind of like you're saying about Roseanne being that show that was everybody's family.
Yeah.
And that's what I started showcasing was, oh my God, I grew up just like that. And so that they could relate.
And I do feel that, like, depending on the culture and family you have, there are different relatabilities. Mm-hmm. Like my wife would always talk about Vicks Vapor Rub.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what?
It Vicks.
Yeah.
It cures everything.
Yeah. She goes, Vicks Vapor Rub in Hispanic families is like Robitussin, the way Chris Rock was talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am so fucking confused right now.
The equivalent of Vicks Vapor Rub for white people is like essential oils.
Hey. Hey. I love my EOs.
Y'all's go-to is like the lavender all the time. Use this lavender essential oil and use the peppermint. It'll clear up your sinuses. I'm like, just get some Vicks.
It's really elderberry. All right. That's really what you want. You want elderberry. That or oil of oregano.
See,
you're being a fucking hippie about that. That's funny.
Yeah, no, I had a white buddy and his mom. I told his mom, I was like, you ever use Vicks? You know how many Vicks? She's like, what? She's like, oh, I got peppermint essential oils. It's sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
I was like, no, ma'am, I need that blue little tub of goo. The thing is, with my grandmother, she didn't always use Vicks for everything. Mm-hmm. It was always drink 7-Up, drink a Sprite, carbon, like just.
Dude, I miss old 7-Up. You know they changed the formula, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They changed it to get rid of the salt content, which was one of the reasons why I think, like, when everybody, at least when I was sick, it was like, if you had the flu, it's like, here's a 7-Up and fucking saltine crackers, right?
Yeah.
And because that will hold and retain water. So if you're having a hard time holding water and you need salt to like retain water. So it made sense that like 7-Up was the go-to one, not knowing that it had a higher salt content than all the other sodas. But they changed it because I had a 7-Up, like, out of nostalgia. I'm not going to buy the one in the can. I'm always going to buy the one in the glass.
Yeah.
Mexican Coke tastes better than.
Oh, anything tastes better in a glass.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to get the 7-Up in the glass. And then I was like, this doesn't taste the same. And then I read they changed it to get rid of the salt because people said the salt was too high.
What?
Yeah.
No wonder why I don't feel better anymore when I drink it.
That's what I'm saying.
Why am I still diet? This is supposed to work.
I'm like, it's supposed to be like fucking, like delicious Pedialyte.
It's the cure.
It was for me.
I can't stop drinking mineral water. Well, carbonated water.
Me too.
I had still water the other day and I just couldn't. My wife's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I needed to pica. I needed to be spicy. She's like, that's so weird. I was like, I don't know. I heard for some Scientologist guy.
Scientologist or scientist?
No. Some guy, he's a Scientologist. He was talking about
like Ron L. Hubbard.
Yeah.
Okay, making sure.
Tom Cruise.
Cruise.
He was talking about how sparkling water does so well for the gut and everything. And so, but I've noticed that since I have been drinking it, I don't feel like I have to crap like 3 or 4 times a day like I used to. Like I feel like everything's regulated now.
I will say that switching or adding sparkling water into my diet or into like my routine pretty much got me out drinking soda.
That is part of why I like it, because I used to drink beer heavily. So, I mean, I like the carbonation, sodas, carbonation. So now I can have something without all of that crap in it and still get that carbonated.
My soda intake was so bad. So I already told you what my caffeine intake was just before we filmed, which is about 18 to 20 shots of espresso a day. My soda intake, I don't know what I drank throughout the day, but when I would go visit my friend who was a waiter at TGI Fridays, they got so annoyed with coming back to fill up my glass with Dr. Pepper. They just brought me the pitcher and put a straw in it. And it was my goal because they thought that would stop the refills.
Yeah.
So my goal is to drink it. Like, can you give me a refill? So just at like a meal, I have at least 2 liters of Dr. Pepper there.
Yeah.
And that's not the 4 or 5, like not this regular size, but the bigger size Dr. Peppers. It was like Dr. Pepper, 7-Up and Squirt.
Dude, that's my wife's favorite drink. She can go through two 12 packs of Dr. Pepper, dude, in like a couple of days.
I want to go to the factory because it's in Waco.
Really?
Yeah, Dr. Pepper's in Waco.
Oh, I thought they shared the same factory with the bigger factory in San Antonio.
They may, but they have a fucking Dr. Pepper museum. And they have like different sub flavors of Dr. Pepper.
Now I know where I'm going to take my wife. Yeah, her birthday.
Yeah, you could do that. Go to Magnolia's, go say hi to Chip and them, and come back with some home goods.
Ugh, Chip and Joanne. God, my wife used to make me watch them all the time.
I never watched it.
I was like, that's cool. I want a barn style house. She's like, no. I was like, then why are we watching this? I was like, I can buy some white bowls and stuff too from the dollar store. I want to spend $30 on this big old. My wife literally bought some like centerpiece at Target. She spent almost $100, and it was just a bowl and some stuff just some crap that went in it, and it served no purpose whatsoever.
It's pure decoration.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't even go with the rest of our house. The one thing I did was I ended up taking my wife to Disney World and like letting her explore Animal Kingdom. And she got out of that Chip and Joanne phase because I would have rather have my house filled with Disney items. I'm a huge Disney fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
so you've been to Disneyland, the original one in California?
I've never been to Disneyland, but I did live in Florida for 4 years and I worked at the park for a while.
See, I've never been to Disney World.
Dude.
I've been to Disneyland Paris.
I want to go to Disneyland Paris.
One of my friends, Demi, that's her name, she was a Disney princess.
Oh, wow.
So I was going to go I took a month off to travel around Europe.
You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say she's friends with a Disney princess.
Oh, but she doesn't work for them anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't care. This is not for children. I say the word fuck. And not to mention, I had a whole episode of a UT lecture on, and she talked about the real history of Santa Claus. So I'm.
Oh God.
There's no fucking children hopefully around listening to this. If you are, sorry. That was your choice. Yeah. So she was Rapunzel, and so I was trying to figure out how to get to Europe cheap, and the cheapest flight was flying into Paris. And I was like, all right. And so I called up my friend. I'm like, hey, if I come into Paris, can I like stay with you for a couple of days? And then I just went around visiting clients that I had in California that moved back home to Europe. So I had a place to stay and check out. She's like, yeah. And so I ended up like going to the park. It was so cool. When you walk into Main Street, it felt exactly like Main Street, USA in Anaheim, California.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. But all of Tomorrowland was done in steampunk.
Dude, that's why I want to go so bad.
So it was really cool.
Yeah, I like this really stuff.
Cool. So Disneyland. So you rather have Disney stuff?
Yeah, I'd rather have my house decorated with Disney. Like our whole living room is Animal Kingdom. I have photos of Mount Everest on our wall and stuff, and some photos we took of the animals at Animal Kingdom. Like we literally like eat, shit, and breathe Disney in our house. The 4 years that we were living there, I just take my wife to work with me. I'd pick up my kids after school. We'd have dinner at Disney World. Like we never were at home ever because I was always at work. We were there like every single day, and I miss it.
We were at Disneyland a lot when we lived in California. We had the passes, and we had this upgrade to the pass where my wife could go any time of the year. Like no blackout dates,
and she had that platinum annual pass.
Well, we figured out that like, and then I had the one that had this. So there was like no blackout dates, and then there was like some blackout dates.
Yeah,
and those were like the hottest. That's like August, really.
Yeah,
we were fine about not going then. We realized like between parking and how much it costs to enter, like those year-round passes, man, they pay for themselves. So like visit 5. Talk about like a magical place for kids to go to when they're growing up. It was just
our kids just grew up on that. It was so nice. Just growing up, going to Six Flags was like the closest to a real theme park that we'd never actually go to, or SeaWorld.
I did not know until I moved to Texas that Six Flags is from Texas.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the Six Flags meant. That was like, that's a random thing named park. Six Flags, like, why not 5? Why not 7? 7 flags. 6. Apparently, it has Texas history.
Yes.
The 6 flags that are presided over the area.
Yeah.
Access. Yeah. The things you learn.
Yeah, I found that out on a YouTube video. Just randomly, like, searching for something. I was like, what the fuck?
So Chancla Academy became your thing, and now you're branding Chancla Academy outside of who you are. It seems like it's come into something all in its own.
I found out about Chancla Academy it's not a Mexican thing. A lot it's Black, it's white, it's Asian. Like everybody can relate to it. And I thought that I was doing something more for like the Latino community, but once other people started embracing and saying like, hey, not just you, I got hit by the chancla and I grew up the same way. A friend of mine made a really good point. He's like, dude, it's not a Mexican thing. It's a poor people thing. You grew up poor. That's just what it is. Like we started embracing that. And I met quite a few people along the way that's been trying to help me kind of like really brand Chancla Academy in a way that everybody can be a part of it. Nobody's excluded. Now I do like, sometimes I'll do food reviews just cause I'm like, man, if growing up poor, you didn't really get an opportunity to go eat at certain places like iguana burrito. How would you react to that? Like, how would I react to that? How would my parents react to that? I don't do food reviews just because I want to make them funny. I do them in the way that says, if I didn't have this money, this is my first time here and I'm never going to come back. How would I react? And so that's kind of how I base those food reviews off, or whatever I'm doing commentary on is just kind of like, from that perspective, experiencing it for the first time, and people get it because I'll be like, yeah, my grandmother was like that, or my uncle thinks like that, and that's all I'm just showcasing is just we're all one. We're working on some really cool merchandise. It's gonna be more like,
please tell me you're making chanclas.
That we're working on.
Okay,
we're doing more like sorority, like college type merchandise.
Okay.
It's going to look really cool. I've posted about it a couple of times, but we're still working on it. I just got Chancla Academy trademarked.
Oh, cool.
That's what we have been waiting on before we started the merchandise, because we're really going to like push forward with it. It's grown into its own thing, and we want to keep it that way as much as possible. I love doing the skits and stuff. I used to dress up like my grandmother and, tell stories about what it was like growing up with her and stuff. But I don't know. It's just become its own thing. Recently, Fiesta just happened. And
what's Fiesta?
Oh my God.
I mean, I know what a Fiesta
is. The worst party in San Antonio. I'm sorry.
The worst party?
The worst party that happens in San Antonio. Dude, it's not really anything. Like, it's just, you get drunk, you eat, and hopefully you don't get shot. That's all.
Is that a thing you have to worry about? So I've only been to San Antonio twice.
Yeah.
In the 4.5 years I've lived in Austin, in Texas, I've only been twice. Once, my family was in town filming Wyoming. So they wanted to see the Alamo, which was way small. I thought it'd be bigger, and I couldn't even see it because it was surrounded by tall buildings.
We have 2 Alamos in San Antonio.
I went to the one that was near the Riverwalk. Yeah, I don't know what the second one is, unless you're talking about the movie theater.
No, it's by the blood bank, and it's so weird because it's like almost the exact same size as the actual Alamo, and you don't have to wait in line. If you just want a picture in front of the Alamo and not have to worry about tourists, it's right next to the South Texas Blood and Tissue Bank. Like, I'll have to show everybody one day.
Blood and Tissue Bank?
South Texas Blood and Tissue.
Sounds like a great place to eat if you're a vampire.
Yeah.
So we went to the Alamo, and then we did the river walk, which was great, but it's really bad if you have a stroller because everything's fucking steps.
Yeah.
And we were like trying to carry the thing up and down. And then it was like last summer, I went to go see my buddy's band played at the Boeing Center.
Yeah. Techport.
Yeah. It was his band. He's in Mammoth. It was Seven Dust and Ultra Bridge.
Yeah.
It was a cool show. And that was like the second time I went down there. And then I had tacos at whatever that place was I sent you. I forgot what it was.
I forgot what he used.
I know it's at they have the Swandero.
Was it Mi Tierra?
Maybe. I don't know.
I hate that place.
All I know is the Al Pastor was great, but the I'm probably saying it wrong. Is it you say Swandero?
I had Swandero.
It's like a brisket. You don't know this?
Sir, I'm a no sabo kid. Okay.
What that means?
It means I don't know. I don't know kid. I don't know everything in Spanish.
My buddy Robert is the one who got me into this. There's this place in Chula Vista called Tacos El Gordo de Tijuana.
Okay.
My wife likes to say, you say that super white. I go, I am. I can roll my R's and she can. That's actually the fun, ironic part. Our kids are in dual language in school.
Uh-huh.
And so our oldest can roll his R's like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he can't.
Yeah.
Okay. So, he's learning. But it's funny how like one of them got the R rolling.
How does she say hot Cheetos? Does she say hot Cheetos or does she say hashiros?
She'd probably say hot Cheetos.
Okay.
That's what she would probably say. But,
I don't know any Mexican girl that says hot Cheetos. She's like, I want some hashiros.
I don't know. But
I'll have to send you the video. You're going to laugh. You're just going to die. There's this girl that just speaks, but she just rolls her R's for everything. Everything. Like, I'm just like, oh, God, why is she even talking like that?
But this taco place is like fucking delicious. And my buddy Robert turned me on to suadero, which is a particular cut of meat. And it is so good and so delicious. So you got to try it out.
Do they serve your beans and rice in a cup there?
You know what? I didn't get beans and rice. I just got tacos.
Okay.
If I go to like a taqueria, I'm like only just getting tacos.
If they serve me black beans, I'm out of there. I'm like, bye.
I'm with you on that one. Like I want real rice, refried beans.
Yeah, me too.
Like, give me the lard.
Yeah. That's what I went to a place in New Braunfels and they came out and they were like, would you like our beans and rice? And literally it came like in a nice fancy little cup. The rice tasted like steamed bagged rice. Like somebody got Uncle Ben's rice and just said, hey, look, we have the Spanish rice in a bag, just poured in this fucking cup. Like it was disgusting. And the black beans were disgusting. Isn't that how y'all do tacos out here?
What?
Isn't that how y'all do bean and cheese tacos out here?
I don't know. I don't eat bean and cheese tacos.
No.
I literally am like, can I get carne asada? They don't have carne asada, or I'll do al pastor. They don't have al pastor. I'm like, I guess I'll always ask for suadero, al pastor, or carne asada. And if they don't have those, then I'll just get stuck with like carnitas or something like that.
I'm gonna go to a taco truck and be like, hey, somebody else say something about a sombrero meat or whatever.
Sombreros? Or sombreros? I'm telling you, I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's like a cup of brisket. It's really good.
Are you talking about, oh no, birria is something else.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah.
That's really good. One more Avis was the chef and he made that the topping for the pizza. Oh, it was so good.
I've had birria pizza. Have you had birria ramen?
Yes.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I like that. It's not something I can eat all the time, but
but it tastes good.
But yeah, no, with Chancla Academy, man, I've gotten like a lot of really cool opportunities. We started something called Chancla Academy Rockfest. We did it last year at Alamo Beer Company and we had over 4,000 in attendance. We did really, really well. We gave a bunch of local bands opportunities to play with a headliner that they would never get an opportunity to do. And we got Upon a Burning Body, and that show it was the best. But from that stemmed more opportunities. I got to work with actual Techport. We gave 6 local bands an opportunity to play on the stage at one of their events called Fiesta de los Niños. So we worked to get
little kids.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to I'm like, is that what I get me?
Yeah, nobody's gonna get shot there. Became really cool friends with the mayor's wife. Got to meet people like yourself.
I am anywhere even on that list. I'm just a guy who cuts hair, and you just happen to have a really fun Instagram page. And then I forgot how we started talking. So then next thing you know, we're like sending voice messages on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, who are you talking to? Like, remember that guy that you sent me the video while eating the burrito? She goes, yeah, it seems. She goes, what the fuck? You're like random likes. And I'm like, well, like we're seeing you can do is like somebody starts talking and they don't respond.
I get that a lot.
It's like, I've done that many times, but I did that once with Jim Brewer and he responded.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't have time when I'm in office, but like, he's like, I like the concept. Like, let's figure it out another time. And I was thinking, like, God, this is fucking great.
Yeah. I try to shoot my shot sometimes, but I saw your, I know you don't want to make it about you, but I saw your stuff and I was like, this is the most interesting, I guess if you want to call it a podcast or whatever, but I thought it was intriguing. I was just like, oh, I wonder if this guy has anything on YouTube. And so sure enough, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just started watching. I was like, it was relaxing you to see cut people's hair just because it's the equivalent of me watching somebody pressure wash the fucking floor.
No, I get that. I actually think why some people probably like it is we all know what it's like to get our hair cut.
Yeah.
And we know like that can be a very calming experience. And for me, it's the most natural engagement for talking.
Right.
And it's usually the only time people actually are heard because everyone in life is not listening to them. And it's your time for somebody to pay attention to you. I think that might be the appeal with some people, but like, I just started the whole thing because I just have encountered so many awesome people who are celebrities that do really cool shit. And they have a really cool story. And those people I find way more inspiring than like, I don't care about caring about whatever celebrity, So somebody's like, would you want Justin Bieber? I'm like, yeah. And I'm going to ask them a bunch of probably random questions that people won't ask.
Yeah.
Because that's what my mind is doing. Do you wish you got famous when you were older? So you could maybe handle certain things differently. Like, that'd be like one of the things that I would want to know.
That is a good question.
Nobody ever asked child stars like that. Like, I'm going to ask that to my buddy, Jeremy Jackson. I'm going to ask him that because he played Hobie on Baywatch.
Oh, wow.
And so he comes out to Austin often. So we've been just trying to figure out like when that would happen, or if I decided to take the whole setup and just film like 3 or 4 days in California.
Yeah.
And I want to ask him like, would you have wanted celebrity when you were older? Like, would that, or do you think the outcome still would have been the same outcome?
Yeah.
Like, no one knows for sure.
I mean, I think just to answer your questions, like I like, because most people are like, well, don't you feel like you're too old for social media? Don't you feel like, how are you going to relate to the youth with your stories? And come to find out, I like the fact that I'm popular on the internet now at this age because I have those stories to share. And then I end up finding out that a lot of the kids that do follow me, because I have like, my demographic is like between 13 and 21. And a lot of them say, why do you keep saying used to? My mom's still like that till this day. Yeah. And so it just resonates with them even more. And I'm just like, that's interesting.
The ageism of like, you can't do this or you should do this because you're too old for that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And especially if you're talking about things that age don't really matter. Like, for instance, you're talking about Confessions of a Poor Family. That series that you were doing for a while, it sounds like to me, those are things that if you are a poor family, those things aren't changing. If you're talking about these things that are like these universal subjects, like poor or not poor, it doesn't matter if you're 22, 42, or 62, you're talking about things that are really not changing because throughout history, we've always had people who are poor, not poor, super not poor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, those things are just relatable.
Yeah, no. And it is, it's just so crazy to think that we've all divided ourselves up to think like, oh, this is a Mexican, this is a black thing, this is a white thing. And it's just like, no. I remember seeing a TikTok of a guy it was like a collective of videos talking about, well, I'm white and I grew up poor like this because of this, or I'm black because of this. And he pretty much laid it all out and said, it's not a race thing. It's a poor people thing.
Yeah.
Like we all ate at one point from, we used a tub of butter as a bowl for our cereal, or, we ate from a cup or whatever. And I'm just like,
I always remember my grandma always having this. She would never throw the plastic bowls away.
Yeah.
Like she'd be like, oh, the margarine came in and now it's a bowl for cereal.
Yeah.
I remember doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a relatable thing.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Yeah. And I used to think it was a Mexican thing, but no, it's like everybody did it. So I was just like, oh,
like you get a special plastic cup when you're a kid from your Happy Meal at McDonald's.
Yeah.
That plastic cup became your favorite new fucking cup.
we have movie cups from the movie theater.
Yeah. Plastic. If it was plastic, you took it home. We fucking took it home.
Yeah. No, my wife, we use paper plates in our house, which I hate half the time because I feel like not every meal should be on a paper plate. There's certain, I want to be able to cut into my salmon and not rip through the fucking plate and scratch my tabletop. But no, my wife says like everything. She buys plastic spoons and forks. She doesn't throw them away. She washes them. I'm like, don't you think we should just get, the typical, like just the metal ones? And she's like, why? She's like, we have 100 spoons. I was like, but it doesn't make any sense. Like we could just have the one spoon. She's like, yeah, but if they get lost, we have to spend another $1.25. And she's like, I can get 100 spoons for $1.25. I'm like, okay. So we stick with the plastic forks and spoons and the paper plates. And damn, I think we only own like 6 plates, man.
6 non-paper plates?
Yeah, that we don't even use.
Are they the plastic ones for like a special?
No. They're the nice glass plates we bought from Disney World, but we still don't even use those. I don't think there's ever going to be a time that we're actually going to use them.
Maybe my grandparents having those, but they would get like the really thick ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you think, like the heavy duty ones. They're like, look, it doesn't bend when you put your food in it.
Yeah, she also have those and like little tiny Dixie cups. So if you needed a little thing of water, it was like a shot glass of water. Oh, here's a cup. And I'd be like, but I want more. To be filling that fucker up like 95 times.
No, we weren't allowed to drink. Yeah, we had the water hose or the manguera. My grandmother was like, you're not going to dirty my dishes. Go get the water from the outside. So we'd literally like just go outside, drink water from the water hose. And if we were playing outside and we wanted to come in to drink water because it was so hot, she'd give us an ultimatum. She's like, well, if you come inside and you drink the water, you're staying inside because I'm not going to open my door again. And so we would just literally sit outside by the water hose. I remember the first time I drank from a water hose, I didn't know that the water comes out like piping hot. The water just exploded out of the hose, hit me all in the face. I felt like I was on fire. And then once I discovered that, I would ask other kids in the neighborhood, like, have you ever had water from the water hose? They're like, no. So I just pinch it off at the end and just let it build up, all that hot water build up, and then just let it go and just watch other kids be in agony from the hot water on their face. I miss the good old days.
Good old days. Yeah.
Did you ever go bike riding just randomly in the middle of the night?
In the middle?
No, like in the middle of the night. I'm not talking about like 7, 8 p.m. I'm like, my mom.
How old we're talking about? I've been biking. I mean, I got pulled over on my bike once.
I'm talking about like between 8 to 10 years old.
We were like in this new community and it was like there's hardly anything around us.
Yeah.
And if there was anything out past that time, it was either wild dogs or coyotes.
Yeah, no, I remember.
And so we were indoors.
Yeah.
Pretty early, I guess. Or we just go to each other's houses. But there's like, at that age, there's 6 houses on our street.
Dang.
And we were, all of us kids were the same age. And I'm an only child. So it was just going to, your friend's house, which was like 3 doors down. You didn't have a lot of options. You had to like your neighbors, I think.
Yeah, I remember being 8 years old and getting my first bike. It was a Huffy. And me and my friends were like, hey, let's just go to the store. That's when things were open 24 hours. And we used to just ride our bikes all the way to Walmart, like at midnight. That's what we would do. Just a bunch of 8-year-old kids just being hoodlums, just going out, just going to Walmart and just buying like just to go buy a bag of chips. We'd like ride our bikes for like 30 minutes. Yeah, just because we could. My mom didn't care. My mom was that typical like Latin mom. She was just, I'm going to have my Busch beer. Don't bother me. It's the weekend. Whatever you do, try not to die.
Try not to die.
Yeah. And we'd just go out. It was to the point where like I would come home late at night. I could come home at 1 a.m. and even like maybe on a weekday.
Oh, wow.
And
you're like what, 8, 9?
Like 8, 9, 10 years old. And I'd come in and my mom be like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I got to get up for school in the morning. Oh, yeah. Well, don't wake me up. Make sure you set your alarm. And I'd have to take myself to school. Get my sisters ready in the morning for school. Oh, wow. Yeah. I had to grow up pretty fast living with my mom because my mom was like a raging alcoholic. But it was fun, though. I kind of liked it because nobody really told me like what I needed to do and how to do it. But I enjoyed it. It was fun just being able to. I mean, I grew up too fast, too.
Are you also trying to like, I mean, I know you have kids and I don't want to like go on all the time stuff, but do you feel that like that maybe left an impression, maybe what kind of parent you wanted to be for your kids?
Yeah, it really did. Right now, like my oldest, so I have 2 boys that are autistic. and my oldest son, he's not as, I guess I mean, there's no really like levels, but he's not as severe as my 15-year-old. 21. And I remember when I turned 16, my mom tried making me get a job so that I could help her pay bills. And it wasn't something that I really liked, but I knew it's something I had to do.
Yeah.
And with my kids now, with my oldest son, he's like, I'm going to move out when I turn 18 so I can get out of y'all's hair. And I'm like, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to even pay us rent. Like, save up your money, get furniture, get your car, save up money so that when you are ready to move, you have all the things that you need. And I remember growing up and my mom not like supporting us in that way of saying like, hey, save up your money. Like, I'm still the parent. You're 16. I still got to take care of you.
Yeah.
But we have a rule in our house. Once you get a job, I no longer pay for you to go out to eat or go to the movies or go to, like, if we're going to go to a theme park or something, you better have money to save up for yourself. Because at that point, I'm already paying for your rent, your light, your food. And those are necessities, and I'm willing to pay for that. But if you have a job and you want to join us, at the theme park or something, you're on your own. Like, pay for yourself.
Do you give them like a window, like, hey, after like your fourth paycheck, you better have some money saved up? Or is like, once you get your first paycheck, you're on your own?
So
I'm curious because like that's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. My parents were like, when I got my first job, again, I'm just speaking my like I know was the one I lived, right? Is I did not have to get a job. The music store offered me a job. And like, well, this is a great opportunity to have a job. I'm selling guitars, I play musical instruments.
Yeah.
Perfect fit, right? But I remember it was like, hey, now that you have a job, like, we're not going to give you money for gas.
Yeah.
Like they would help me out with some things. Like if I needed something for school.
Yeah.
That was more like, that's still, I think, a parental thing.
Yeah.
But if I wanted new clothes, new shoes, new something, it was like, well, you have a job.
Yeah.
But they weren't like, they weren't very cutthroat about it, but they were very much like, manage your money. Don't, and I learned how to like go overdraft very quickly, as a teenager.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm overdrafting. Can't. Like I learned, like the best way you can make your kids learn about money is let them spend their own money.
Oh yeah. We allow
to not bail them out.
Yeah, no, my son, he loves to collect like horror stuff, like Halloween mask. And I mean, he's dropping like $300 or $400 on these things. And he's got a really good paying job. I mean, they pay him $26 an hour. He's bringing nice hefty little checks,
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not having to pay rent or anything. So he blows his money there. Like this 2 weeks ago, he asked me, he's like, hey, I need to get to work. And I'm like, well, I'm low on gas, man. I go, that was the one rule, is that every other paycheck, you got to like put in at least, fill up the tank at least so I can get you to work. I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
He was out of money and he's like, I need to get to work. I'm like, I don't have any gas. How do you think I'm going to get you there?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I just bought it. I was like, you should have been more responsible with your money. And I go, all you had to do is save $50, man. Yeah. I go, there's a lot of things I want, but I can't be like, I'm going to blow this $50 and let the family starve because, I wanted some new shoes or AirPods or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I want a new video camera. It's going to be like $9,000 or I'm going to choose out of her paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. Was your mortgage $9,000? Oh, Jesus, let's say down.
9,200. No. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the camera actually I do want is actually not 9,000. Actually, I think it's like a G for something. But it's like I don't need the camera. I just want it.
I know. We just got. I have an investor. He doesn't have like deep pockets, but he just got me a Blackmagic camera.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because me and my buddy Miguel, we're planning on doing a whole bunch of stuff after Rockfest that's coming up, which will have Escape the Fate.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
I mean, that's one. I worked with them back in the day, back in the early 2000s.
I know, God, man, they were like my favorite band growing up.
I just remember listening to it for the first time. I was like, man, this band is good. And then all the drama that happened.
Yeah, it's not the same without Ron.
I honestly, and I say this, and because I still talk to Craig from Escape the Fate, and I'm obviously still friends with Danny. I don't know if the direction that Ronnie is currently in would have evolved into that. Like ultimately, like let's say like that was the ultimate path of music that Ronnie would make regardless. Because even early Fall in Reverse does not sound like Escape the Fate.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't.
you could tell there was definitely a clear distinction between the two bands.
Yeah.
Especially once Craig took over. Obviously, the vocals are different. There's obviously it does still sound like Escape the Fate, but I wonder if had Ronnie still stayed in, would Falling in Reverse or a solo project in conjunction with Escape the Fate, like would that have ultimately prevailed? And I don't know. I'd have to have Ronnie on and ask him.
Yeah, no.
I have some questions for him.
I feel like this is I forget, This Is War, This Is Our War album. I forget what it's called. I feel like that was Escape the Fate. Anything after that just felt so odd. I was like, where's this Escape the Fate? What happened to it? Like, where did it go? And I feel like they tried to capture that same essence from that album, and I feel like they couldn't replicate it.
I look at every record with every band is like it's their next evolution, and they're progressing, and you can like it or not. Like I stopped liking Radiohead after OK Computer. So like once Kid A came out and all that, I was like, you've lost me. But like if you talk to people who love Radiohead, they're like, oh man, it's the best record. How do you not like Kid A? I'm like, because I like Pablo Honey and I like the Bends.
Yeah.
And I liked OK Computer. And after that, it was like, you lost me.
It was the same thing with The Used for me. I feel like
that's a band I never really got into.
Yeah. After their third album, I just totally got lost. I was like, what are they trying to do?
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes, I think sometimes bands, maybe they want to try and reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
And, how they reinvent themselves isn't always what fans resonate with,
I don't know how My Chemical Romance does it though. Like they're just so good at doing what they do. But I think it's expected of them to know that every album is going to be different. You know that you're not going to get the same My Chemical Romance you did the last time.
Yeah.
But because it's all like theater. And I guess maybe because
they also kind of set it up like that. They set the tone early. I mean, them and like Panic at the Disco, they kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
They're not really doing the same thing. I mean, you could say that like a band needs to evolve every record, but like that's also the great success of AC/DC.
Yeah.
Or ZZ Top or like any of those bands, it's like, in the first 30 seconds, oh, that's Aerosmith.
Yeah.
But like, I don't really know if that's the case with a lot of new bands that have come out. Like, oh, that's this band. Like I always know a Deftones song.
Yeah.
In the first 4 chords. Like, oh, that's Deftones.
Yeah.
Interpol, same way. Oh, that's an Interpol song. The Strokes, that's a Strokes song. I always know the Killers.
Yeah.
I know that those are those bands. But then there's some bands that come out where like, I'm trying to think of which one was it that like, I heard the first record, it was like really dope. And then the second one came out and I was like, I can't remember who it was. Clearly I'm not listening to them enough.
Yeah.
But maybe it was like Hot Heat or something like that.
That sounds familiar.
It was like Bandages came out. Oh, this is great. And then the rest of the stuff didn't sound the same. And that's fine. That's the course they wanted to go. And they have a fan base that liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever talk trash about a band for switching. I just think that I think it's always really interesting to know or to think about like when a band is consciously saying, we want to step out of this.
Yeah. I just like the direction that Ron's going in because it's fresh. It's new. Like I didn't even know he could flow the way he does. It's insane.
I posted a video of him flowing back at that first photo shoot.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He could rap back then. He could rap back then. So when I heard he was rapping, or that he was, and rumors were going around he was going to rap, I absolutely was like, of course he's going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I have a video of him rapping and Max Green beatboxing. And it was like, that was on the cuff. Like he was just rapping off the top of his head at that point. And I knew for sure that he was going to do well at rapping. The question is, was it going to be received the way I think he was hoping it was? And I think there's probably some pushback initially.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea of rap metal was like Korn. And Korn to me wasn't even rap metal. They didn't even agree in rap.
Yeah.
They just were groovy. They're just groovy metal.
Yeah.
But Limp Bizkit was like rap metal.
Yeah.
Head PE was more rap metal, And I think that you have that.
It's when I heard Ron rap for the first time, and I forget, I think it was Monsters.
Monster?
Yeah. When I heard that song, I know this is going to sound really weird.
Go for it.
But it took me back to how I felt when I heard Aerosmith and Run DMC.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it felt so new and so fresh. I was like, man, I really hope he continues to go in this direction because I always like to see music evolve in so many ways.
Yeah.
And you don't find a lot of people who can get creative with music. I had some friends who were like, oh, that's so weird. He's rapping with metal. But I was like, yeah, but who else is doing this right now?
No.
Like no one. And I go, pretty soon there are going to be people that are going to follow suit and it's not going to sound the same anymore.
Yeah.
I go, but with him, it's always going to be badass no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, he can definitely flow.
Yeah.
And he can definitely, I mean, he's good. He's one hell of a showman.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, he goes out there and he commands the audience. I mean, when they came through town this past February with Disturbed, I realized like I had not seen him perform since before my wife and I got married. So we've been married 8 years this year. And I hadn't seen him play live in 8 years. I realized I would go to shows and then I'd cut his hair and I'd be like, hey man, I can't say I have something to go.
Yeah.
Like I would see him. I mean, because he'd come in the salon or I'd go to his house or I'd meet him at the concert. Oh, this is a great opportunity for me to bring my kids.
Yeah.
So I brought my 5 and 7-year-old to their first metal show.
Nice.
And they had a blast. And my youngest one thought the lasers on the ceiling was the highlight of his evening. Meanwhile, my eldest, he was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And he got to see what a real front man of a metal hard rock, like he does so many of the archetype frontman moves, but it's not done in a gimmicky way. It's very authentically how he is, and how he is in person and how he is on stage. Yeah. And so my kids were like really into that. And, I got to go and meet him and get to talk to him. And, my oldest like, I like my favorite songs, the song with the video, we're in the car and out dragon and the monster. And then Ronnie's like, oh, you mean in the sound effects? Like, yeah, that one, that's my favorite because you go in the mouth. Like, he likes the song, but I think he likes the video more. Yeah. He likes dinosaurs and dragons.
Well, dude, his videos are even more amazing too.
Oh, they're insane.
I was like, man,
they're insane. Yeah.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah. But it was cool to see because, I mean, I had not seen them play an arena that big. I mean, 15,000 people. My friends that were at the Rockville, Florida thing, they said that all 3 of the guys came out for the new song. So then Tech Nine was out, Alex Terrible came out, and they all just did the new song live. And which that song starts out ripping your face off, and it doesn't.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what we're hoping with Chancla Academy Rockfest. Like we're trying to bring back that Warped Tourish kind of vibe, but our goal is to showcase a lot of the local talent we have, as opposed to just, oh, let's hire a bunch of big name bands so we could bring people to make money. And the event is free. Like it's free to the public. Like anybody can come. Because we feel like if we make people feel like they're not, I don't want to, well, I guess the word to use is obligated, right? Oh, I paid $30, so I have to be here and be miserable. Like if they're not obligated to have to pay anything to come in other than parking, and they get to enjoy themselves, they're going to spend their money on the band's merch and some of the small businesses that are there.
Have you thought about just making like a donation like account so that people like a QR code, like if you're enjoying this, donate like $2?
It's something that I thought about.
Just because it could pay it forward for like the next year, so that we make it bigger and still get the same sponsorship and funding. Yeah. Now you're starting off with a little bit of a cushion to kind of like, maybe that 10 extra, maybe if you get like $5,000, that's able to put a retain on a band that you want. That's bigger.
And that's not a bad idea because this festival alone cost me $75,000. Yeah, just alone. So I mean, it's not a lot compared to what I had in mind, but the fact that we're getting the opportunity to do it in Poteet, Texas, which is a small town that's just growing, but they kind of want to be like the next Green, Texas. Yeah. But they want to be that little mecca for music. That's cool. So they're giving me an opportunity to work with their city to bring the festival to their town, get to use their land, their grounds. It's 100 acres.
That's cool.
Yeah. And so they have everything that we need. They have the stages already, everything. So I don't have to worry about, all that other crap other than let's get the music, get the light and sound, and get sponsors and just, get a team to help us make it happen. But
that'd be really cool to see how it turns out, how it starts growing over the years,
Yeah. I mean, we had 4,000 people last year. I mean, that little venue that we were at Alamo Beer Company, was so packed. I made that, they didn't give me no cut, but I made that company $56,000 in beer sales. At the end of the night, they had briskets set up for the next week. And the cook was so pissed that he had to use those briskets because they were running out of food. So at the end of the night, they were serving beans and chips because that's all they had left. And
Confessions of grown up war.
Yeah.
Beans and chips.
Ugh, I hate those bush beans. Ugh. My wife eats those. I was like, you grew up pretty wealthy. Like, why are you eating these poor people beans? She's like, they're so good.
Hey, man, taste is taste. Yeah, you like it, you don't, you know?
She likes the maple syrup bacon flavored ones or whatever they are. Oh,
I have never enjoyed beans in a can.
no, I can't.
It just feels like it's just like syrup with beans.
That's pretty much what it is.
That's what it tastes like.
I can't do canned beans either. They're disgusting. Somebody tried giving me canned beans one time and they're like, you can't tell the difference. I was like, oh, no, I can.
Oh, yeah.
I can.
So
It's in my face.
So this week is your Chancla Academy comedy. Is that am I right on that?
Yeah. So
You started. You've taken this from skits to now doing it in front of an audience. So you're doing is it?
So it's my show. I'll be doing stand up. I invited a few comedians local to San Antonio. I was never going to do a stand up show like ever, and that was never my intention because I know I'm funny sketch comedy wise, and that's something I don't have to do with. Like I don't have to be in front of an audience. Yeah. I just do my thing and then let the comments do its thing. Like if somebody finds it funny, they find it funny. If not, I don't have to experience that person. Yeah. But Our Lady of the Lake reached out to me and they're like, hey, could you do a show here? And I was like, why would you want me to do that? Like, yeah, my style of comedy is very vulgar and crazy, and I don't know that you want me there. They're like, no, we want you here. So I'm going to do it now.
That's cool.
Dude, I've only done like 3-4 minute stand-up sets randomly. Yeah. And so, I mean, I already got those jitters out, but it's like, oh my God, I'm going to have to prove to myself, am I really funny? Or I need to quit everything I'm doing, period.
You don't quit. You just got to figure out what worked and what didn't work, right?
Yeah.
I think the more you do something, the better you're always going to get at it.
Yeah.
You know, from listening to a lot of Kill Tony stuff, I don't know if you've listened to Kill Tony.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten comfortable with hearing people bomb, which makes me think I would be comfortable if I got up there and I bombed. Like, I got so comfortable with people being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That it makes me feel comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. And I do a lot of, teaching. So I'm out in front of a group of hairdressers. Sometimes it's like, small, intimate salon setup of 5 people. Sometimes it's 15. I've done seminars where, you have like a whole auditorium.
Yeah.
What I've learned from that experience is landing jokes intentionally. Like, okay, I know I'm going to say this because this line works. And so I always joke around, like I have the same stories and same one-liners, but I'm like a traveling comedian because it's a different group every time. Yeah. And if you took 4 classes from me at 4 different salons, you would hear the same one-liners. Yeah. They're funny, but they also, for my job, those one-liners anchor a site to be made about either handling clients or doing a haircut or something like that. So it goes back to, would it be funny to someone who's not a hairdresser? Probably not. But like I have hairdresser humor, but it does make me think that I would be comfortable because I've definitely said jokes that either went over somebody's head. Yeah. And they didn't get it. And that made me like the joke even more because it was like so over their head. Yeah. It's like a personal little treat for me and the giggles. Or they go, huh? What? And like, okay, so where can I miss out on that? Because the point was supposed to be this. Yeah. It didn't happen. So, I think it's cool that you're doing it. And I think as long as you're okay with not everybody getting it, that's the first thing. I think going up there with the assumption that everyone's going to love this and it'll be funny is where people get their feelings crushed. Yeah.
Me, it's more of like, are they going to get it? That's my problem. And I don't mind bombing. Like I actually like bombing. I don't know what it is. Because you know what? In the last 4 years that I've been on social media, especially when you're on TikTok, when I started off there, people made it known like this wasn't good. Oh, yeah. Or, a video didn't do too well. And that was my version of, bombing. And it was just like, and I would leave those videos there. I never deleted them.
Yeah, no. It's part of your growth, man.
Yeah.
It's funny you said, would somebody get me? I'd be like, Well, you're married, so someone gets you at least.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she finds you funny or not, but she hates you.
She hates my guts. I can't believe I've been with this person, the same person for 25 years, man. That's
a long time.
It's a very long, since we were 13, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like, we don't even like argue about regular stuff.
You don't argue about regular stuff?
Like normally, like it's never like, oh, you're cheating on me. It's like she gets mad if I place the paper plates in the wrong area. Like, they don't go there, or I didn't shut the fridge all the way, or it's just.
How do you get angry and throw a paper plate? I mean, it has no impact. Like, do you throw a paper plate and like, oh, it didn't crack?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Or do you just like light it on fire? Look,
it's kind of like
you have to light it on fire.
It's kind of like the reason
more brutal.
I feel like it's the same reason why Mexicans use chanclas, right? Like I said, you can't get reported, so she threw me a paper plate. I can't call the cops.
That's a funny skit right there.
I know. She can't hurt me.
You just get paper cut lacerations.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna take that. I think I'm gonna take that with me. I'm gonna take that with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude.
Don't you see the excuse? What do you mean? Favorite? Oh, she didn't do that.
She nicked me here and here. These scars are gonna ruin my life.
See, I told you, scenarios. I like scenarios. I think scenarios are really, really funny.
I don't meet very many people like that where I can connect with them, like, humorous wise. I have my best friend, but that guy is just, I don't know what he's been up to. I get to see him for the first time on Friday. But he was the one that encouraged me for a long time to do stand-up. Because I like, the thing is when like I'm at parties and stuff, I can do bits all day. Yeah. But it's because, I'm around friends and people I know for the most part.
So you know it's going to make them laugh.
Yeah. I'm not really good at scripting anything either. So like I literally have a whole thing of notes of jokes that I want to say, but I have them as bullet points instead of like writing out the joke because I already remember the story.
Yeah.
So it's just like, am I going to be able to replicate what I do at my friend's parties? So I'm just going in literally blind to the whole thing. I'm not really practicing as much because I'm like, if I practice, I'm going to like overthink every word, every line. I'm just going to get like 2 or 3 beers in me and I'm just going to act like I'm sitting at my friend's party.
And that's maybe what you have to do is you have to just mentally prepare yourself for it like that. Like, this is how I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I know a lot of, I've interviewed a few comedians on the podcast, then I've talked to a few now, outside of the podcast.
Yeah.
And hang out with a comedian. There's others around. And it's interesting to hear how everybody kind of like formulates their thing, like how much they practice, they're reworking their jokes. Did that hit? Did that not hit? They're rewatching and they're listening. They're really keen. And like, was it funny this time? Or was it funny that time?
Yeah.
I think that's sort of like post-mortem, as I call it,
Yeah.
Listen after like, oh, well, I thought that was going to be funny. Why did that not funny? I remember my wife and I went to go see Trevor Noah live. It was like right after he took over the
Daily Show.
Yeah. And once we heard who he was, we started looking him up. I'm like, man, this guy's funny. His whole bit about tacos. Have you seen it?
No, I was.
Dude, I don't even want to even try to like, just gotta listen to it. And I'll actually find the one specifically and send it to you because he's done that taco joke.
Yeah.
Several times. Not as funny. But this one time he got it right. And it was just, what I realized is like he spent a little bit more time on the setup. He added details that embellished the story, which is always a good art of storytelling. Is you're embellishing real moments, you're just making them a little over the top.
Right.
If 10's, unbelievable, you're hovering around 8.
Yeah.
Like 5 is truth, 8 is funny, 9 is you're like, I don't believe any of it, 10 is this guy's lying.
Yeah.
And so he did a really good job of saying this really great joke about tacos. And it ties into this whole thing about like, I've never been to America, so I don't know what's a taco.
Yeah.
So like it played into his like truly being a foreigner in a foreign country, right? But it starts off because my buddy buys me tacos. He's like my white buddy. He's like, what do you mean? You never had Mexican food, dude? You never had tacos? Like, sorry, Mexicans really never made it over to South Africa.
Yeah.
Like that was funny.
Yeah.
But how he says it that first time in that bit killed. And then I think maybe he gets bored with the joke, so he doesn't tell all the bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So he kind of gets to the ending point a little sooner. So when we saw that bit live, which was a couple years after we'd seen the first, it was like it lost its magic.
Yeah.
Where I remember watching George Carlin live.
I would have killed to watch that. Man.
It was his last comedy. It was his tour before the HBO special.
Yeah.
Which is a Life is a Horrible Thing.
Yeah.
Where the graveyard's there.
Yeah.
And watching that, he's working out the jokes. He actually had a piece of paper on the bar stool. And somebody happened and he goes, he's like, fuck you. You're hearing the jokes the way they're supposed to be. Or by the time I do the special, they're going to be different. Yeah. So it was cool for him to acknowledge, like, this is the way the jokes are supposed to be.
And it's so funny. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's so funny because that's how I'm going to do my show. Yeah. Like, I'm literally going to have my notes up there with me because I have a hard time remembering things. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to tell those jokes in the rawest form that I remember. Yeah.
Watching that stand up, I can tell you it was almost verbatim.
Damn.
Yeah, it was cool. All the stuff that you're laughing at, like, you shouldn't laugh at because it's like so bad. Like, he's talking about planning suicide. Not a fun topic, right? Right. George Carlin is that guy where Carlin is able to somehow make the ha-ha out of, you know, and he kills it. And so I always think about that, like, you know, sometimes like, could over rehearsing be a negative thing for some comedians? Yeah. Or is it something like where, you know, you're more funny on the spontaneity? You know, there's a lot of comedians now who are getting a lot of social media attention because they have great crowd work. Yeah. But their jokes just aren't funny.
Oh my God, tell me about it. I watched Matt Rife and Ralph Barbosa, and a lot of their stuff that I watched was their crowd work. Mm-hmm. And then when I watched their stand-up, I'm like, huh.
I haven't seen a stand-up. I've only seen the crowd work, so I don't know. I know that there's things to be like this thing about crowd work, and, you know, we're here in Austin. It's the new hub for comedy. Yeah. It's replacing New York and LA immediately, I feel like. Yeah. And you go watch on any of these open mic nights, and what was I gonna say? Like, there are some comedians whose specialty is crowd work. Yeah. And they're funny, but when they try to go back to tell their jokes, they don't hit, they don't deliver. It's like bomb. But if you just came out and started talking to the crowd, and that was their whole thing, and they're not trying to tell jokes and be funny. Yeah. They're really funny.
That's what I tried telling somebody one time, because I get, trust me, I get hundreds of DMs of people telling me, like, I should try to go.
I made it through the hundreds of DMs. This was special.
Yeah. Right. It was your blue check mark, sir. No.
So I do it. No. I want somebody to like fucking do something with like a blue check mark similar to my name or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I've seen so many people. The only reason why I have a blue check mark is not because I wanted that symbol status. I have it because when I started getting paid out by Instagram, I would get upset because the way they would split my payments. And the only way I could get them to respond to me is if I had that blue check mark so I could get through a live person immediately.
There are some perks, and I agree. That was actually one of the things that I wanted was that. Yeah. And it's like, well, you know, you pay a little bit of money and you get some features and benefits if you actually need features and benefits.
Yeah. For me, it's just trying to get a hold of somebody. But yeah, no, I've been watching a lot of Kill Tony stuff, and what I realized is a lot of the jokes it's a lot of ass and dick jokes is what it is. We're like, yo, I got laid tonight, and I'm kind of like,
the comedians that go up there.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I told this person, you know, hey, people are requesting that I try to go to Kill Tony, and they're like, oh, you're not ready for that. And I'm like, how am I not ready for that? I've
you do it.
Yeah, I was like, I've seen people go up there and bomb like horribly, you know, and they did it, but I don't know what exactly do you mean I'm not ready for that? Like, is there a certain style? Like, you have to say a certain joke? Like, what do you mean I'm not ready? They're like, you're just not ready.
And usually it's the people who also are scaredy cats. They're like, they actually never take a chance to be daring to do something scary. They like live in their safe box most of the time. The people who give you the most advice will never take their own advice. Yeah. They're like, oh, well, you're not ready. You have to do this and this and this. Like, well, what are you doing? Yeah. It's like that old quote of the man in the arena. Yeah. You know, the Brene, the chick she was on, she has a special, I can't remember her name, but Brene Brown, I believe, she talked about being the man in the arena. It's so easy to criticize the person doing the thing that you're too scared shitless to do. And, you know, they're daring greatly, right? Like this, or they're falling and failing with grace. Right? Yeah. They're doing it. I think if people just started doing that more, and not give a fuck about what anybody else was doing.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me a really great example that like a horse in a race has blinders on because they don't need the horse to the left and to the right of them mean nothing. You only have to look straight ahead.
Yeah.
And anytime I get lost in my own thoughts where I start going, am I doing the right thing? Should I continue with this podcast? Should I do this or should I do that? I keep thinking, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm distracted to these other people who are doing stuff that aren't even in my field.
Yeah.
Or they're other hairdressers. I'm like, oh, they have this really great following. They're doing all this, but they made a point to do a particular type of social media account where they're really educating hairdressers. They're doing this. And like, I made a choice a long time ago. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So why am I getting lost on my own thoughts about what somebody else is doing? I need to put my blinders on. I'm a horse in a race of one with me and my goal.
Yeah.
And those people love to talk. They love to say, oh, you're not right. Don't do this. Don't do that. And I'm like, do it. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather fail on my own terms.
I feel like San Antonio is very gatekeepy because this person's been on Kill Tony a couple of times. I've seen them on Kill Tony and I'm just kind of like, okay.
Well, here's the thing, man. There's a lot of comedians. There's a lot of different flavors of comedy.
Right.
That's why there's a lot of different beer out there. There's a beer for everyone. There's a comedian for everyone. Like there's some people who love fucking Margaret Cho, Brian Posehn. Do you know what I'm saying? They like all of these different comedians, but like not everyone is into those comedians.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like I've always liked Andrew Dice Clay. I think Clay is hysterical.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I think he is amazing. I also thought I like a lot of older comedians. Like Bill Hicks is one of my favorites. Bill Hicks is the driest, most depressing sounding comedian. Are you familiar with Bill Hicks?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Bill Hicks.
Oh, dude, when I heard him, I was like, this guy's amazing.
That's what I'm trying to get used to, is just kind of keeping my blinders on.
Yeah, but just remember, like, you're doing the comedy. It's your voice.
Yeah.
And so if they said, oh, that's not funny, that's not good, well, you're also not doing their comedy. I can't tell you how many clients I've had sit in my chair and there may be an age discrepancy, right? So yeah, I'm like 24 and they're like 64, right? At that time. Now at 42, hair may still be a little bit wild for some people, but not, I mean, 24 is a wilder hair era. They'd be like, don't make me look like you. And I was like, well, I don't want to look like you either. I don't want old lady hair, you know? And the reason I'm saying that is that's their brand of comedy and your brand of comedy. If Andy Kaufman were to start out today, would people like him?
God, no.
I don't know. Maybe they would.
Yeah.
Maybe they would. I mean, there's a comedian coming out. When I say coming out, she's like killing it. I think she's fucking hysterical. Her name is Ryer.
Mm-hmm.
Ryer Cameron or something like that. Cameron Ryer. She's fucking hysterical. But she falls in that Andy Kaufman sense of comedy where she's not, I don't think, trying to be funny. She's just like has quirks. And she celebrates her quirks openly. And it's fucking hysterical. Have you heard of Ryer?
No, but you need to show me.
Dude, you got to check it out. Like, I think she's hysterical. I think it's a very specific flavor for people, but she's been doing a lot more at Mothership. And I think people are catching on. Like,
yeah.
It's like an Andy Kaufman. Like, is it an act? Is it not an act? Like, you never really knew with Andy Kaufman if he was being himself, playing a character. I think Andy Kaufman was just being himself. Yeah. Acting like he was playing a character. Like, that was like, like, oh, that's not really me, but it really was. And I think Ryer is like, just like, this is me.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Dude, I got to see it.
I got to see it. Great. Yeah. How's the length on top?
I like it.
See, you said you wanted to be able to like wear your hair curly, right?
Yeah.
So, if I didn't blow dry your hair?
Yeah.
So that way your hair with its curl shows into its shape. So all you have to do is towel dry, put some product in it or let it air dry. And now you have a shape that will fit your face more.
I like
Instead of taking this part short, like I actually think you need height because what it does is your face is wide. And so there's nothing wrong with it. It's just everyone has like my face is narrow. You know what I'm saying?
I look like, what was that one show? The Eddie Murphy show? Meet the PJs?
There was some.
No. I'll send you a photo.
Okay.
I look like the dad.
I'll remember if you showed me a photo of you with a wig on and I called you Mexican Lego. Mexican Lego. That thing literally like.
Yeah, that Edgar wig is the best.
It's just funny. We said that. I like saw that. So I'm like, I'm gonna say this. He can't get offended. That's what I was like. I'm like, you look like a Mexican Lego. And I showed it to my buddy Robert, who's in town.
Yeah.
He goes, well, you're not wrong. Like,
dude, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to offend me. Like,
oh, me too.
I mean, a lot.
We're fucking watching South Park. Good luck.
Yeah, me too.
I was telling somebody they talked about how they loved South Park and they love like all the South Park movies. I'm like, have you ever seen Orgasmo? And they're like, what's Orgasmo? Have you seen Orgasmo?
No, I haven't seen Orgasmo.
Oh, I don't know what year it came out. I think it probably came out like probably like 90, anywhere between the year 1998 and like 2000. And Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they are in the movie. And I can't remember who's who. The guy with the non-curly hair is the main character. And it's a Mormon who's doing his mission, and he becomes a porn star. That's the premise.
Now that you say that, I think that sounds familiar.
Probably highly offensive to most people today, but it is. It's just like a time in my life where I just laugh and I go, oh, when you could do everything.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, well, it's comedy.
Dude, I think it's coming back. I think the whole like cancel culture thing is going away. Yeah. I think people are like, you know what? We had fun with that.
Seriously, like going to these open mic nights and hearing what they're saying is absolutely just wild, right? People are using derogatory terms, to put it lightly, to describe other people. But those same groups of people who are doing that are also using said derogatory terms as the punchline.
Yeah.
So I have no idea where the line is in comedy of like, hey, is this an acceptable thing? Is this not an acceptable thing? It's just really funny.
I love dark humor. That's like my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Dark humor's great.
Yeah, my wife doesn't like it so much, but
what I have a feeling is there's going to be a lot of jokes about your wife and your stand-up.
Yeah,
well,
for the most part.
So I'm just going to leave this part curly unless you want me to straighten it out.
No,
yeah. I just think
I like it.
I think it looks nice. I'm just going to put a little method of texture paste, and it's just going to have a little bit more of a sheen versus it being like high shine. So it's going to have a little bit more of a sheen, and it's has a flexible hold. So it's something that if you enjoy it, I would just touch your hair. I want you to feel how dry it is. Oh. It's not totally dry.
Yeah.
But so that way you can start letting your hair have its movement show, right? And then I'm using them as a little bit lighter on hold, not too strong. So if you use something too strong, when you put it in there, it'll just stay. Like I just want to bring out some separation.
And what kind of?
This is by Curology.
Okay. Yeah, I have some that I use like Suavecito, and that stuff's like
really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I don't know if there's a Suavecito one that's lighter in hold.
Yeah.
But I know that it would be, I think they probably make one. I know a comparative water-based pomade brand would be like Layrite.
Yeah.
And the Layrite that has their blue label would be comparative if you have access to that.
Yeah.
This is not as water soluble, but what I like about it is that it just has a little bit, I think this still has a lighter hold than the, we're just blind a little bit. Like if I use Layrite or like a Layrite style product, those pomades are so gel oriented that like when you put it in, it's, this is not designed to be like touch your hair. Like I put product in, it's just like, it's not about hold. It's about just showing off that texture.
Yeah, no.
That way you can just towel dry and let your hair go. Because look, we live in Texas where it's really hot.
I don't look like an old man.
Hey man, I'm not about making people look old or young. I just want them to look nice, and it's all about fitting somebody's face shape, you know?
Dude, this is like really good. Like this is what I've been wanting. Like I'm telling you, I'll have to send you a video.
Yeah.
My hair that I had, because even my friend was like, you need to do your hair like this. And it just so happened that day that my hair was just working with me. And it was similar to this, but it was a little more flatter. But I love this. Like,
yeah, it works with your hair. You know, you got curl, you have wave, just embrace it. And I just wanted to work with your natural type of hair. So that way you're not like stressing out about, oh no, my hair's not doing, like I can move it all in these different directions. It's just going to get bigger. That's fine. It's easy to make hair flat, you know, big hair is hard.
I can't wait for my son to see it. He's going to be like, oh, what, you think you're cool now or what?
Like, damn right.
Damn right. Yeah. I go, you look like me, buddy. That's why.
Yeah. And I actually just brush your beard down. I actually don't know if I'd want to go through and take it too short, you know?
Yeah, no, I just brush it down is what I do.
Yeah.
And what I do is I just go and get like, I'll comb it out a little bit sometimes just to get that excess. And
if you do, see, the thing is like, I don't have a 3-guard on my clipper because after a certain thing, I just go straight to clipper over kelp. But if I did, I would go through and just go down. I wouldn't go up.
Okay.
If you like the length, you just want to get rid of the little fuzzies, you want to go down. But if you want to make it short, go against the grain. Okay. That's what I've learned from all my barber friends is that when you go up, you're going to cut all the length off because you're going against normally then the growth pattern is going down.
Yeah.
So when you go up, it's going to make it short. It's going to lift the hair up and make it a lot shorter.
I have to keep it maintained because I look like I would fly into a building.
My buddy makes that same joke, and he does get stopped at the airport.
Whoops.
He says it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, big beard. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to a plane. Got to cut the beard short. I'm like, I've never been of Indian hijackers. And he's like, I know. They all think if you have dark skin and a beard. Like,
I always have to.
he always says this. And I was just like, he's like, he's like, you don't get stopped at the airport. I'm like, oh, I get stopped all the time at the airport.
Yeah.
Because I fly with scissors.
Oh, really?
You're allowed to fly with scissors. And they have to
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. They have to check them. Yeah, these guys, these scissors where they're hiding. Yeah. Like I fly on board with these.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And these are the absolute maximum length of blades you can fly.
Can you take, what's with those? You can't take razors?
No, we can take scissors. Because, these are not lethal at all. It's funny when somebody takes them out and there's like another person giving their luggage search.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, they're just scissors. And they put them away because they know that they'll
yeah. And
then the person goes, and the other person next to me, somebody's looking like, ma'am, we're going to have to throw away your toothpaste. She starts looking at me. She's like, you could find fucking scissors. I'm like, uh-huh.
What do you do with toothpaste?
Well, because it's over the amount of ounces.
Oh, okay.
It's like a full-size toothpaste. And what happens is, and I did this, I learned this the hard way. I thought it was like how much there is in there, like not what it says on the container.
Yeah.
So like if you have half of your toothpaste, you'd be like, well, look, it says 6 ounces. I have less than half. That's 2.5 ounces.
Yeah.
Let me fly. They go, no, sorry. It says it here on the label. And because it says it on the label, 9 ounces or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't bring like, even if you know visually there's less, they go, yeah, it just says that we can't do it.
Wow.
Yeah. People like have like expensive, cosmetic products, and you can see that there's hardly anything in there. And they go, sorry, the container says 20 ounces. Got the
Good. So that means when I fly to Florida, my daughter won't take all that crappy makeup she wears with her.
well,
Because everything's so big.
well, powders are different. Like powders, like if she's putting like blush, she can bring all those. But it's anything liquid.
No, she does the liquid stuff.
Yeah. Well, depends on how big. I think like the max is like 2.5 ounces or 3 ounces. I forget. All I know is everything I have that I would use that comes in a larger size, I've downsized into. So I've doubles of everything.
Yeah.
Because if you were to say like, Tab, I'm picking you up 10 minutes, we're going to the airport, we're going, I'm like, just tell me what's the weather, hot, cold,
Yeah.
And then I'll just pack, and I have like, it's like almost like a bug out bag with my dog kit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Like fly enough.
I don't fly often. I've probably flown like 3 or 4 times in my entire life.
I probably did that in the last like month.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I know my wife, she's going to fly for the first time, and they're talking about buying all this luggage. I was like, we're not doing that. We're going to put everything into one luggage. I was like, I only have 3 pairs of pants, and I'm only taking one. So like, I don't need to take anything else with me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll wear the same clothes every day. Who's going to like...
At least invest in some sort of carry-on bag, because if your luggage gets lost, everything's gone.
Okay.
I saw that like some of my friends, they were in Italy, and it was the summer everybody's luggage got lost. It seemed like, and then it arrived the day they were all leaving from Italy. It was like, I kept seeing it on my Facebook. My Facebook, they're like, oh, another friend in Italy lost her luggage. Another friend lost her luggage. Like, but you have like a carry-on on things you would need just in case you fucking got there. They're like, nope, didn't do it. And so like, I look excessive, but I have everything I would need for like the first 3 days. And then if there's anything I would have put into like, I could probably just carry with one check-in bag.
Yeah.
I'd be fine. Because of that, I'm paranoid.
I think we're just taking underwear in that carry-on bag because we'll be wearing the same clothes for the next few days.
Where you guys going?
Orlando. We're going back to Florida.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're going to go back to Disney World.
Yeah, you just need shorts and comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
It's going to be sweltering hot.
Well, I love it during the summer. It rains at 3 o'clock every single day.
It's like Hawaii. It rained every day at like 4:30.
Yeah, I love it. I miss the rain so much over there.
Yeah, this past weekend, it was raining a whole ton in Montana. It was super dry. My lips are super chapped. And I'd wake up, it'd be 38 degrees.
Jesus, 38?
Yeah, and then it'd be like a high of 62, 65. And then the wind would come and go right down in the 50s, and then you down in high 30s. And I knew that was going to happen, but I'm leaving here trying to pack for that. So my mind is so messed up. I'm like, why am I bringing a pea coat with me?
Yeah.
It's 89 degrees outside. Feels like 94. It is such a mental fuck. But like going from here to Orlando is like easy because it's the same weather.
Yeah.
Or humid there, but you know.
Yeah, the humidity will strangle you out there.
Yeah. Well, dude, thanks for coming over.
No.
And sharing me about the Chancla Academy.
Yeah, no, I'm like in awe in this. I'm probably gonna get a chancla for my wife when I get home. You think you're so cool with your hair?
On that note, we're done. Thanks later.